Welcome, everybody in Southern California and the Western United States. It's the Edge Radio Show once again on KHTS, award-winning. I want to get my voice down to yours.
Award-winning
KHTS. You can listen.
Award-winning.
Yeah.
You got to get down into the cellar.
You got to get in. Let's see what I was going to say. The management's always concerned about what I'm going to say. They're never concerned about what you're going to say.
$4.99.
Yeah, $4.99. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, our guest today is really one of the most famous people in America that you probably never heard of, but you're going to hear her voice. I love her personality. Devin Alexander was the chef on the
Biggest Loser.
Thank you. You know what? I'm the biggest loser.
You are not. We got your back, Coach. We got your back.
I can't remember in 10 seconds. Oh, God. Also, hundreds of television shows. She was on the Today Show. She was the chef on Today Show. 10 books. Not 9, not 8, 10 books. 3 of them New York bestsellers. Devin Alexander, welcome to the Edge Radio Show right here in Newhall, California. How are you, girl?
I am fantastic, and thank you so much for having me.
I love listening to you. I love talking to you. Every time I talk to you, I just feel better. So there's only one reason you're on the show today, and that's because you're going to teach all of us how to lose weight eating chocolate cake.
Yes, I am. Just like I did for myself. I always like to start by telling people that I've lost 70 pounds, that I kept off for a couple decades.
Wow.
But I will admit that I gained a couple in COVID, like the rest of you.
I've seen your you look pretty good. I've seen your what's your website, incidentally, for people that want to check in? What is your website?
DevinAlexander.com, and Devin is spelled D-E-V-I-N.
D-E-V-I-N.
Right.
So we have a beautiful, she's been on our show many times. She's listening to you because she wants to learn how to eat chocolate cake. Diane Forrester, big shout out to
hi,
you.
Diane.
Down in Carl.
Hi, Diane.
Do you know Diane too, I think, right?
Everybody's heard of Diane. Of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
But, I haven't had the pleasure of meeting her yet.
Well, she is the next. She's the next Oprah, but she's listening to you because I told her, I said, you're going to learn how to eat chocolate cake. She's put on like 4 pounds and she's freaking out. So
sounds like me.
Yeah. But you have a wonderful mission, and I want to talk about that. And the mission is to help mommies learn how to feed their kids so that we don't all wind up what I have, and that's borderline diabetes.
Right.
It's a horrible situation.
A1C at 5.8.
Yours is?
5.7.
Wow.
Are you kidding me?
No, it's at 5.7.
Mine's about 8.1.
Wow.
Yeah, mine's
Terrible.
that way. Mine's. I'm a terrible eater. I really am. I do not. Growing up as an athlete, right? You're always thinking that I got to gain weight. I got to.
Right.
Get
Well,
bigger,
you gotta eat
stronger.
a lot of calories. Yeah,
you got to eat a lot of calories.
Yeah.
But, a lot of those are starches and things like that, which turn into sugars, which aren't good for you.
Yeah.
And then I have a terrible sweet tooth. And so it just, it snowballs. So
This is not about you today.
I know that.
So
I'm just saying that's how it happens.
This is not
That's how it
about you
happens.
today.
No, but it's about every...
This is about me. I'm the one that has
every
high blood.
man that's every man that's over 50 that's
I'm the one with the high blood sugar.
No, I don't have high blood pressure. That's good.
Yeah. I don't either, but I have high.
Actually, I'm excited that Big Scott said that, Coach, because you started with he's fit, he doesn't need it, and I think so many people that we don't even know need it.
Right.
So.
I think you're right on that. Because most people wouldn't think that, but I
Don't yes, sir. You don't have to yes, sir.
no, I can. I like to.
So
I'm trained. I have 5 women at home. Yes, ma'am. Yes, honey. Whatever you say.
I
honey.
have the same situation.
I'm with you too. I'm with you too.
Yeah. I've learned the hard way.
DevinAlexander.com. Devin Alexander, our wonderful guest on the Edge Radio Show. We have listeners all over the United States. So, Devin, why with all of the information, you and I talked about this last week, all the education, all the information, why are we still overweight? Why are we still, diabetes is just, it's horrible how it's taking over this country. What is going on?
Well, some of it is just plain trickery. I think it's really hard for people to decipher labels, even if they're trying. Are we allowed to out you? I should have asked you this before. But no, I mean, people will, hear that they can eat something sugar-free or they can eat a certain thing. So brands market in a way to make you think that whatever they want to sell you is okay. Right. And I mean, even for instance, I was just, getting so upset over, I accidentally gave my daughter these coconut chips that were literally like everything else in the brand is just plain coconut or plain strawberry or plain whatever it is, the fruit. And so I feel really good about it, and I didn't even read that label, and all of a sudden they've added sugar to their coconut chips. And, I mean, my daughter doesn't need that sugar. She loved the coconut the way it was before. And so I think if you're not being super diligent looking all the time, we're just constantly tricked. And actually, last week I asked my mom to get sunflower butter before we got here when she was at the grocery store, because that's one of the things that I feed my daughter all the time. And again, I didn't think to say the kind without the sugar, because the front of the package is natural, and their sunflower butter is usually sold only at natural stores. Tons of people haven't even had it because it's, quote, too healthy, but then this one brand threw some sugar in there. Ugh.
So isn't that really what's happened over time when you think about the advent of fast foods in the 50s and 60s all the way through, that, they started adding sugar to everything, even the white bread and all those things, things that people like, or and I think McDonald's used to do this when, with their buns and stuff, they had sugar in the dough type of thing, just to make it even more.
Right, and in the sauce, and there's modified cornstarch, like all the carbs, tons of starches, and then we come out with gluten-free things, and people are like, oh, it's not the same, it's better for me. Right. And what they don't realize is sometimes, the trickery is that there can be an English muffin that only half of an English muffin is a serving. So one of my friends started eating gluten-free English muffins because she said, oh, they're only 100 calories and the other ones are 180, like the regular ones. And I'm like, really? That's weird. And I look at the label and it's like, no, actually they're 200 calories. Because you're eating the whole thing.
I got unpacked all of this. Diane Forster just tuned in. She just texted me. She wants to know how she can lose the 4 pounds eating chocolate cake. I got to get this out of the way for Diane, the next Oprah. I have so many questions. I want questions about water, questions just what you said. I love the English muffin. We'll talk about sugar, alcohol. I get confused about. I've got all these questions, but tell Diane Forster how she's going to lose 4 pounds eating chocolate cake. I want to hear what you're going to say.
Okay, so if Diane were my client and this was a real case scenario, what I would have her do is write down for 3 days every single thing she puts in her mouth, and that including water, gum, anything. And then we would look for places where she doesn't really care what she's eating, and then we could sneak in a little bit of chocolate cake. Now, because a lot of times people are eating things that, doesn't really matter to them, or it has a little more, they just got some package thing and they didn't even realize that it has X, Y, or Z in it. So that's, especially if it's 4 pounds, obviously when we're unpacking this for someone who has 30 or 40 or 50 pounds to lose, it's very different. But I'm a big proponent, and the reason I've had so much success is because I don't do the dietitian thing where I come in and I strip your entire pantry and tell you can't eat anything you're eating. Or I think, Ron, we've talked about this, that people will go to their doctor and they'll just be like, don't eat anything that tastes good. And part of it is just knowing your own gut microbiome, which there's tests for that and things. But so if Diane is, if her blood sugar is high and certain things spike her blood sugar, we might make her a chocolate cake that's literally made from chocolate, eggs, and butter, believe it or not, because for someone, Diane doesn't have diabetes, but if you really want a chocolate cake, that's what I would have you make. Something that's thick and rich and super chocolatey with dark chocolate with low sugar. For someone who's kind of, trying to lose 4 pounds and they just want to sneak in a chocolate cake, we do a really low-fat chocolate cake, but not with added sugar in it, just low-fat with the traditional amount of sugar.
What are you saying, Diane? She wants to kill us? Because what is she saying?
She's saying that you disclose too much information. Is what
4
I'm thinking.
pounds? Come on, girl. Get over yourself. So, Devin Alexander, our wonderful guest today. So, I'm going to admit something to Scott that I've never shared with you. You ready?
Oh.
I love chocolate.
Yeah. I already know that.
Oh, you do? So every night I have a little bit of chocolate. I've got myself on a disciplined regimen. So when it says 140 calories for like 3 pieces, am I okay? Am I okay just having those 3 pieces of the chocolate?
Well, it really depends. 140 calories when you have when you're diabetes prone, it might be a big problem because it's not about the calories at all. Mm-hmm. I don't know that you shared this with me before, and I would have suggested a product called Meal Enders, which I'm not a spokesperson for, but a gentleman hired a scientist to figure out what would trigger his brain to stop eating, and so he came up with these lozenges that are only 15 calories, I believe 2 grams of sugar, and they have a chocolatey outer coating, and then the interior is this really strong mint flavor. So you get that chocolate,
Write
and
that
then
down, Scott.
the mint triggers you to stop eating. The way brushing your teeth, some dietitians will say brush your teeth, and then you feel finished. Your brain is triggered to feel finished. But that's what these were designed for, and actually, it's funny. I think they work better for men, or I've heard reports that men have more success with them than women do, which I also thought was interesting. I know they were founded by a man. I know they weren't founded for men, but I've sent them to a number of men, and all of them have said they've helped their weight loss. And I've sent them to
what's the
women
name?
as well.
Yeah, give us the name. Give us the name.
of
People are calling in. Everybody wants the name. We don't take callers, Diane, because there's a long story why we don't take callers. But what's the name of the...
They're called Meal Enders, so it's supposed to end your meal.
Meal Enders.
Wow.
Yeah.
If this works, girl, you're in the will.
So you're saying that the Reese's Thins, since they're supposed to be thinner than the others, that I can't eat 10 or 20 of those during the day? No.
Sorry.
Meal Enders. So Patty, look up Meal Enders.
Meal Enders?
Yeah, I got to start buying some Meal Enders.
Like the end of your meal, Meal Enders?
Yeah, Meal
Enders.
Bingo.
Seriously, I know a lot of people who have said that they actually work for them.
Okay.
Again, I don't find them personally to be, if I eat sushi or something and I'm full, I know I'm full, somehow sushi triggers me to want junk food. I don't know what it is. So at that time, I find them incredibly helpful because it gives me that chocolatey thing, and then it does, stop when I'm just like, I want something. But, if I'm hungry at night, legit hungry and all at night, obviously they're not going to work. It's like a 15-calorie little lozenge.
Yeah,
but
so Scott just pulled it up. Munchies Meet Your Match. Okay. So just you being on the show today, Devin Alexander, you probably have helped 20,000 people lose weight.
Easy.
God bless you. Yeah,
20,000? Come on, that's a low number.
Okay, that's a low number. So what did you have for breakfast this morning?
I genuinely don't remember. I do know that I had a giant glass of celery juice.
Ugh.
No. Have you tried it?
No.
Do you like celery?
No. Here's why I don't like celery. Okay, I'm an older dude. I'm old enough to be your father. It gets in my teeth, the strings of the celery. What are you laughing about, Scott?
I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you.
The celery gets in my teeth. Horrible.
Okay, let me rephrase the question. Do you like the taste of celery if it didn't get stuck in your teeth?
Yeah, I kind of do. Yeah, I'll go with
that.
that. Yeah, I kind of do.
I honestly find celery juice to be incredibly refreshing. Anybody who's followed me knows that.
All right, I'm going to Albertson. Does Albertson sell it? I'm going to buy it this afternoon.
No.
Who sells it?
They do. I think you either have to go to a juice bar or you make it, which is really easy too.
So you're saying we got to make it by having a juicer?
Well, you
machine.
can.
or a
Right,
blender, but
What-
that's
or a
kind of
blender,
a pain.
right?
So when I could use the same thing that I make my margaritas with, right?
That thing, yeah, that blender thing.
Oh, okay, that's a blender. Talking to Devin Alexander, ladies and gentlemen, you can just tell what a personality. Devin, never say the word she. Did you tell your kids never use the word she? Always mention the person's name.
Right.
So Devin was the chef on The Biggest Loser for 10 years. 10 bestsellers. You can check her books out. Three of those 10 were New York bestsellers. Go to devinalexander.com. Can I ask you about water? So Scott and I are about the same age. We both grew up drinking water out of a hose, and we
Right.
loved it.
Exactly.
All of a sudden, somewhere around the year 2001 or 2, I'm holding a plastic bottle with water in it. And now I can't let go of the plastic bottle of water. Everywhere I go, I don't have Scott's money. He's drinking Pellegrini or something. What is
Pellegrino.
that? Pellegrino.
Well, it's not.
This was 59 cents at
I know.
at
I like
Walmart.
carbonation, and so instead of drinking a Diet Coke.
Okay,
which-
let's ask her about carbonation. Is carbonation is it helpful in any way for digestive system? Carbonated
not.
water?
Probably not.
You know what? I should say I am not a dietitian to the nth of science.
You're my
I am the
dietitian.
chef that,
You're my
well, so I
dietitian.
am the chef that makes what you eat taste amazing, which a lot of dietitians have no idea how to do. They know what you're supposed to be eating, but there's not a lot of me out there who can take what your doctor or your dietitian tells you should be eating it and make it delicious.
Okay, so that's a cheap plug for
So
your
the,
3 best-selling books that are all recipe. My wife knows who you are, and I believe she has one of your recipe books. My wife's listening, so I better be quiet. Better be nice. So
Well, so the carbonation, I mean, to Scott's point, sometimes you want something other than water and you don't want to drink a lot of junk. I recommend celery juice. Haha, no. That is an option. But another option is iced tea that is decaf. So like Tazo that you can get at Starbucks, the passion flavor, I actually think is delicious. It's on the tart and fruity side. So when I drink it, I put a tiny bit of stevia in it often. I can drink it plain. I don't love it and crave it plain. My daughter actually has never had sugar in her drinks at all, so she drinks it plain. But she thinks she's walking around with this beautiful, like, Hawaiian punch color. And so, Mommy, I want iced tea. And she doesn't know that it's not the garbage that all of her friends are drinking. So there's a lot of options like that. If you get tired of just plain water, there's just tons of herbal teas that are decaf and, might actually lend other things. I mean, honestly, one of my big get fit tips is if you don't have high blood pressure, and obviously check this stuff with your doctor. I should say I'm not a doctor, so, check anything. But green tea is one of the things that is, one, a Hollywood secret, and two, that has made a huge impact on my life. I skin brush in the morning and drink green tea religiously, and that really is a, quote, Hollywood secret. I had hurt my back when I was writing The Biggest Loser dessert cookbook, and we had to make like 400 desserts in 6 weeks, and I literally couldn't work out, and I'm like, I am dead. And I went to this guru who does this like super hardcore massage that's supposed to like flush out your system and stuff, but she also told me to do green tea and skin brushing. And when I got through the book and I stopped going to her, I kept the green tea and skin brushing. And I was like, wait a second, the massage part didn't even make a difference, and that was the expensive part. But this skin brushing and green tea thing is amazing.
Well, I've got a million questions to ask. Our special guest today is Devin Alexander. Devin was the chef for 10 years on The Biggest Loser. 10 books, recipe books, 3 of them New York bestsellers. Our show brought to you by Yoakum Plumbing. I got to tell you a little story, Devin and Scott. You have misters in the backyard?
Have
Misters.
no,
You don't know what a mister is?
no. Oh, I know what they are, but
Okay.
I don't have any.
With your money, you don't have misters? It's amazing.
I have umbrellas.
I couldn't.
I'm sorry.
Same here.
I couldn't
got
find
umbrellas, too.
anybody to fix my misters. Yoakum Plumbing, who had such
I
a high
know
Yelp,
them. I
they're
know-
incredible.
Yeah, they're good.
I mean, and Jason, the young man that came out, so professional. I mean, I'm giving them a 10, but we found them on Yelp, and their Yelp rating was unbelievable. Yoakum Plumbing. All right, so what do you brush your teeth with, Devin?
No, skin brushing.
Skin brushing. Yeah, she's
So
saying that you.
there are these
Go ahead.
mitts that look like oven mitts that are made from horsehair, and they're scratchy. And in the morning, you dry brush, meaning not in the shower, and you do 30 strokes of each body part. It takes 6 minutes total, and you probably know, but your skin is your biggest organ. So you're flushing away the toxins. So not only, do I really believe that it's contributed to my staying fit, it also keeps me so much healthier. So, of course, I've been religiously making sure I do it during COVID, and I'm like, I'm not going to get sick.
Well, disclaimer, you're listening to the Edge Radio Show. Don't try this in the shower, as Devin just said. And we're not giving medical advice out. We're just having fun today with Devin Alexander, who is my nutritionist. That's what you are.
Right, it is. I mean, it is not medical advice. Let's reiterate that. I am not a doctor. This is not medical advice.
I'm
However,
not a doctor either. You a doctor?
I
No.
know.
No
I
doctor.
know. So, but I
No doctors.
seriously
Are you a doctor,
suggest
Patty?
anyone.
No.
No doctors here. We got no
No
doctors.
doctors here.
Okay,
No
so
doctors.
So we're we got to take a quick.
No,
little break.
I
We're
just
on-
got to say something.
Okay.
I have a dog. I brush the dog's teeth with what Devin is talking about. I'm gonna seriously, Devin. I'm gonna try it. Where do you buy the mitt to do it?
Probably
I
Amazon.
ordered them online, and I don't know exactly. They're not on Amazon. I'll have to get you that.
I'm just kidding.
Come on, girl. You've given us the enders. You've given us a lot of good stuff today.
Well, I don't order though. The meal enders I'm sending to people all the time. They're a great gift.
No, the meal enders is going to be.
No, we're on that. No, we're on that. We'll be right back as Scott Harries and the coach on the Edge Radio Show. We only have the best guests in America. I'm not kidding. We have one today. Go to devinalexander.com during our little brief break. When we come back, we're going to talk about something that may touch your heart. We'll be right back on the show called The Edge Radio Show.
Your business sign is essential to getting customers to your location. Feathers can help you get your business noticed. Feathers, now in a new larger space with plenty of parking. They walk you through each phase of your project with special attention to detail and quality. Feathers will provide you a sign that you can be proud of. Your sign will draw customers in instead of having them drive by. Visit Feathers online at feathersigns.com or go to Feathers' brand new bigger location at 26017 Huntington Drive off Rye Canyon or call 298-9442.
Save water and save money. SCV Water wants to help you find your fit and take advantage of conservation rebate programs that will help you save. Water your landscape more efficiently. Replace your lawn with water-wise plants. Conduct free in-home water surveys. Cover your swimming pool and more. Find the programs that fit your needs and start saving today. Visit conserve.yourscvwater.com to learn more.
That's conserve.yourscvwater.com.
You already know Salt Creek Grill has the best food in our valley. Well, now you can have Salt Creek's gourmet meals catered to your event.
I'm Greg Amsler, owner of Salt Creek Grill. I'd like to introduce you to a new level of catering, featuring our catering director, Tamara Levine.
Salt Creek Grill creates memorable experiences, which leaves our clients and guests with a sense of awe and excitement. From menu development to picturesque presentation, you'll enjoy culinary excellence and creative catering.
Salt Creek Grill, a new level of catering.
Denny & Company, LLP, helps small to medium-sized businesses with their tax and accounting needs. With over 55 years of public accounting experience among them, Denny & Company's partners are familiar with a large number of business types, tax situations, and business consulting needs ranging from individuals, families, trusts and estates, corporations, partnerships, and limited liability companies in many different industries and professions. The partners and staff of Denny & Company, LLP are always friendly, helpful, responsive, and are experienced in representing individuals and businesses like yours with all kinds of government agencies, banks, attorneys, and more. They are your hometown CPA firm. Why go all the way to Century City or Encino to pay top dollar for the same level of services you can get right here in Santa Clarita? Denny and Company LLP, CPAs that make life less taxing. Call 286-8860. Call 286-8860.
I listen to it all day, every day.
Hometown, your hometown station.
We're our show is
Jason.
filmed. What's your name?
Who's Jason?
No, I was looking at Jay. What's your name, Patty?
Patty.
I was looking at Jason at joke.
Boy, we're having an intervention today.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah. Do you know why you're here, Coach?
It's Yoakum Plumbing. Look at his name.
Jason.
But look at his last name, Jason Plummer. How do you have that? How do you work for a plumbing company and then have the name Plummer?
Oh, that's funny.
That's funny. All right, back to our wonderful guest today on the Edge Radio Show, Devin Alexander. Go to devinalexander.com. Devin
So Devin, before I just got to say this before we move on to another topic, and I just can't get this image out of my mind. Seeing Coach.
Skin brushing.
Skin brushing. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. We're going to have to try and get some, appropriate video to put on YouTube. I love you, Coach. I just went to 500.
right?
On
your own.
I went from $4.99 to
What do you know?
500.
Hey, look at that! I'm at $4.99 now. Let's go.
$4.99.
I'm like a wussy boy. Okay, so I love all this stuff. No, I love all this stuff. We're talking about your diet, ladies and gentlemen. I have high blood sugar, and Devin Alexander is on the show. She'll be on many times in the next 20 years on our show, but it's a serious subject. It's a subject that's killing people. It's a subject we can't get under control.
Yeah, it's actually the biggest health crisis in our country is diet and blood sugar, because it leads to all the other issues. It leads to the high blood pressure. It leads to all kinds of.
So do you know what happens when you have diabetes? Your blood is thickened, and it robs your body of oxygen, and it causes your other organs to work overtime.
Plus your heart, makes your heart work a lot harder.
So, Devin, you lost 70 pounds. Can you share with our audience across the country how you lost 70 pounds?
Honestly, it wasn't as dramatic as you would think in terms of what I did differently. I mean, I had tried like so many people have and tried, and I really believed that I was drying, and I was so frustrated. And then I heard that if you cut just 100 calories from your diet per day, on average, you'll lose 10 pounds in a year. And that was a big light bulb for me, because going back to what I had, said when we were talking about Diane's 4 pounds, if she wants to lose those 4 pounds this year, all she has to do is cut 40 pounds per day. 40 calories per day, which is not much at all. And if someone wants to lose, 12 pounds, they cut 120 calories per day. So it's pretty simple math. And I had done the thing that so many people do where you're like, okay, I'm going to start the diet on Monday, or I'm going to start the diet on New Year's. And I would literally be like, okay, well, I better eat everything now between now and Monday or New Year's that I might ever miss again. So I would gain so much more in preparation of the diet, and then had no willpower, so wasn't able to stick to the diet. Does it sound familiar to anybody out there?
Yep.
And so I just kept gaining and feeling like I was dieting all the time. And then I made a conscious decision that I'm no longer dieting. I'm going to be super aware of everything that I put in my mouth. If I, quote, accidentally, I love that word, eat a cupcake, I'm just going to be like, okay.
I accidentally just scarfed that down.
I
That's me.
accidentally ate an entire bag of potato chips.
Yeah, like I walk by the freezer and I reach in and I grab those Reese's Thins. They're frozen.
Yeah.
And, man, they can go down so fast. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you know. I mean, it's like you make that commitment to yourself, and then it's somebody's birthday, and you accidentally eat a cupcake.
Right.
And then you feel terrible. And I used to be one of the people who went home and ate 7 more cupcakes and 20 more things in commitment to the new diet I'm going to start. You know, I mean, I don't think I'm the only one who's done this. So basically, I made a conscious decision that I was never going on a diet again, and I was just going to, you know, watch calories and stop when I'm full and, you know, do my best. I mean, I'm still a night eater. I admit it. I still eat things I, quote, shouldn't at night.
Well, they're accidental, Devin. They're accidental.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But I've been telling
It's
myself
sad.
that for 10 years now.
Okay, so let's talk for a second about your chefing on The Big Loser for 10 years. What did you chef? What were the meals comprised of that these people were losing 50, 100 pounds? I mean, what?
Well, so they were cooking their own meals. I was more a consultant, so I wrote all the cookbooks for the show, and then based on some of their challenges, I would, you know, give suggestions, and we would like write the books based on the challenges of the season. So one of them was called Biggest Loser: Flavors of the World, and there was this set of cousins from Palau even that we were trying to develop like their family recipes for them in the book, and in addition to everybody else's.
Right.
And then I would do a lot of the outward facing, like be on Today's Show on behalf of Biggest Loser and the NBC affiliates. And at one point, like one of the contestants, when he won, they wanted to announce it as part of a Got Milk campaign, but he wasn't really able to do the satellite media tour, so they brought me in to do it. Things like that. So I wasn't on camera every week, and I wasn't cooking for them every day. I just, for 10 years, was a part of the show in those ways.
But that's a big part because they had to, one, learn how to cook for themselves. They also, if I'm remembering right, they had rigorous workouts, right, and goals that they had.
They did.
I mean, so you have to have enough calorie intake, right, to not pass out when you're doing all that work.
Right. To be honest, though, everybody's like, oh, if I were only Biggest Loser contestant, I would lose the weight and all of that. And the truth is, like, I believe that those contestants were actually the sacrificial lambs,
right,
because to show us all that you can, in fact, lose that weight. Right. The way they did it, obviously it's a TV competition, so just like, Fear Factor where they're eating bugs and that's not healthy, the rigorous level that they were doing it on Biggest Loser, and again, survivors like that, like if you think of almost every reality show, like you're not doing healthy things.
Right.
Should we put a disclaimer out there that you shouldn't eat bugs? Should we make a disclaimer? Shouldn't eat bugs?
Depending what bugs and how they're prepared,
right,
things like that.
So DevinAlexander.com, DevinAlexander.com, my nutritionist.
And that's Devin.
Yeah, that's right. It's
not to be confused with a boxer named Devin Alexander.
Right. Oh, there's a boxer?
Yes.
Good point.
Yes.
There is.
Good point.
There is.
Thank you, Scott.
Okay.
When you look, let's talk about diabetes for a second. So did you exercise when you were losing this 70 pounds?
You know what? Interestingly, I did not do nearly as much exercise as people would think, especially in the early days. For me, it really is calories in, calories out. And having gone through my transformation, I truly believe that it's easier to lose weight if you're working out more because of the mental than the physical. I think you need that release. You need that. Like even this past week, I've been playing tennis every day again. And it's like I feel like a different person. And so just as I said, like getting those endorphins going and all of that, like I don't crave in the same way. If you go down the road of eating the sugar and wanting the food and not working out and not getting outside, I think it just all compounds it and you can get deeper and deeper. And then if you can find something that you love doing, and I don't spend much time at all in a gym. Like, I've gone years without going to a gym, but I love beach tennis. I love tennis. Like, I found things that I really enjoy doing. When my daughter was born and I couldn't really leave the house much, I would hula hoop a ton, which would make her laugh, so I'd do it even more. It's just finding things that you can be moving and kind of even 15 minutes of a sweat will make a huge difference.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting because, I've tried different ways when, I got to a point at one point in my life, after athletics and stuff, when I stopped training the way I used to, and I was working full time, and you're sitting behind the desk and you're traveling, doing all those things and I was eating fast food and going like I always did, and I went from like 225 to 270, and
you're 6'7", and
I know,
you're not
so
overweight.
No, so it's interesting though, but you couldn't really see it, and no one really knew it, but I knew it when someone took a picture of me one time laughing at some gag gift they gave me for my 40th birthday, and I looked at that picture and I said to my wife, I go, "Do I really look like that?" And she said, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Okay." So that changed everything. But working out, I found different ways work, and right down to just walking every day. And
So I walked 3 miles. You know how many calories I burn? I'm so upset. I looked at my health meter thing. I burned 25 calories, and I walked 2 miles. I know, something's not right.
Yeah.
All right, Devin Alexander. Huh?
You know what? But can we talk about that? Like, that's my point. That it's not really 25. I'm sure you burned more than that. But the thing is, like, if you think about eating, even a fast food burger, how many hours? Like, you have to be 2 hours on the treadmill for that. For women, maybe not men, at least an hour. But that's the part of it that, and sleep is a huge, huge, huge component. Like, I know that my body is, like, raging, like, seeking energy, wanting to accidentally eat everything when I don't sleep. So I make the conscious choice when I'm on the road, when I'm speaking, when I'm doing all those things. If I'm not going to be getting a full night's sleep if I work out, it's better for me to sleep than it is to work out. And I know that because there's no amount of working out that I'm going to do at night that's going to combat the 700 extra calories I will eat during the day trying to feel awake.
You know, it's interesting.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it's a very good point.
That is.
And I'm guilty. I work out to eat. I've got issues. I really have some psychological. No, it's true. I really need a shrink. Being 20 pounds over.
Well, you know what? Well,
you're half a shrink.
It's interesting because, well, I think you are. I think by the way you write your books and the way you've interacted with people, that way you would have to be, in a way, because you're like a coach, right? You're coaching people to do the right thing.
She is a coach.
Right,
exactly.
Right, and that was sort of my point about dietitians. Like, anybody can tell you what to eat, and we all know what we, quote, should eat. And I laugh at my trainer friends who've been fit their whole lives who are like, you don't need a scale. You know what you're doing is okay. And I'm like, yeah, and it's not. So I want to make sure that I can, set up boundaries in there. You may not need a scale. I do,
right. Yeah, it's interesting because I think that so many times people go through life and they're trying to match off, like what you said, eating certain amount of activity, or I have to starve myself and still do all this activity to lose the weight. And I think I've just kind of gleaned a little bit of this from our conversation today, but it's like eating the right things that stimulate your body's digestive system. So it's.
Well, we don't know what the right things are. Celery juice. Well, I need celery juice.
No, but I'm just saying that but she's saying through her whole premise is that there's a diet, there's a way to do things to make it tasty, to make it.
Don't you think it's genes? Don't you? A lot of it is genes.
Well, I think there is a lot of it.
Some of it is.
But not all of it.
Some of it is genes, and that's what Biggest Loser showed America, that, everybody can make a change. Everybody can lose weight. So many people can get rid of their send their diabetes into remission. But a lot of it, too, Coach, you, and Scott, you being an athlete, you know this more than anyone. If you stepped out on that field,
I'm an athlete, too, Devin.
Oh, okay, Coach and athlete. No, but if you step out onto that field and you're like, oh, I'm not going to get this play,
right.
You know that you're not going to get the play.
Right.
And Coach, with your, there's so many examples of this, but yet when we eat something that we're not supposed to, and I say that in air quotes,
right.
Then we're like, I shouldn't be eating this, I shouldn't be eating this, I shouldn't be eating this. And I'm a big believer that when I eat chocolate cake, I need to be saying, yo, this is such a good treat, and enjoying it and, welcoming it into my body so that it's accepted instead of the opposite.
Right.
And because I make lower calorie things, I know that if I go to a restaurant, and I mean, I'm as big a chocoholic, if not bigger than you gentlemen, if I go to a restaurant and there's something delicious and chocolatey, I'll literally, take a bite. If it's amazing, I'll take a few more bites and be like, I'm really enjoying this. If it's mediocre, I'm like, I literally don't even want it because I know I can make something better at home. So
very good.
All right, we got to take a break. You are so funny and so smart. I mean, you don't write 3 New York bestsellers. We're going to take a break.
Do they
Devin,
do you also produce batteries? Because you're so energetic, you got to be.
If I could bottle her,
bottle that energy.
We could sell Devin Alexander all. The show is called The Edge Radio Show. We'll be back with Devin Alexander in a minute. Our show brought to you by my new plumbing company, Yoakum Plumbing, and his name is Jason Plummer.
There you go.
So if you got problems with your misters or any, I'm telling you, this company. Look at their Yelp rating. We'll be right back on the Edge Radio Show on KHTS 98.1 FM and 1220 AM right here in Southern California.
The 4th of July fireworks are back at the Valencia Town Center. And like past years, KHTS is going to be broadcasting the synchronized music. It's a fun, memorable event for the entire family. So bring your lawn chairs, grab a spot early before the sun sets. And be sure to tune your radio to 98.1 FM or AM 1220 to celebrate the birth of our nation. The July 4th fireworks is presented by the City of Santa Clarita. Our music simulcast is made possible by our friends at Hestia Med Spa on Valencia Boulevard.
Join the Canyon Theater Guild for in-person workshops for children up to 17 years old this summer. Kids become their favorite fairy tale characters in Character Matters, Return of the Fairy Tale Advice Council. Juniors take to the high seas in Dave the Brave and the Pirateers, facing crocodiles, sirens, and the notorious pirate Lady Legs. Be our guest with the stars and Disney's Beauty and the Beast Jr. Call 661-799-2702 or visit canyontheater.org.
Thinking of buying a house and want a really low interest rate? Owning has a special for home purchases, where Owning pays all your closing costs, and the rate in APR is an unheard of 1.875% for a 15-year fixed mortgage with 20% down. This is the craziest low rate for a mortgage with no closing costs that Owning has ever done. 1.875% rate in APR. Heck, we're almost paying you to live in a new house. Call 833-2-OWNING or go to owning.com to see if you qualify for this crazy low 1.875% rate. That's a fixed rate loan at 1.875% with no closing costs. Call 833-2-OWNING now because 1.875 could go away at any time.
NMLS 2611, licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act. Subject to credit approval. Offer assumes the use of lender's choice escrow and title services. Call 833-858-80066 for terms and conditions.
That's 833-2-OWNING or owning.com. 833-2-OWNING or owning.com.
Why did Mercedes-Benz of Valencia win the Dealer of Excellence Award in 2019?
Because we strive to provide the most outstanding sales experience.
Mercedes-Benz of Valencia COO Chris Paz.
We know you have high expectations. Our stellar team will meet and exceed your expectations. That's why we were named Mercedes Best of the Best, placing us in the top 10% of all Mercedes dealers nationwide.
Find out how you can lease a new Mercedes for unbelievably low monthly payments. Details at mbzvalencia.com.
It's like no other station I've ever listened to. It's great.
Your hometown station.
No, you should never. You should always wear those glasses. There's Edge Radio Show. Mr. Scott Harries, one of my.
You got to rock out with them, right?
499th best friend,
right.
Golfing buddy. We normally play golf the morning of our show, but for some reason today, we never tell our audience what he does for a living. We're not allowed to, but. Anyway,
too many meetings.
Yeah, too many meetings. So, Devin, what would you like to say to America? You've got 8 minutes left. Share with us from your heart and your beautiful voice. What would you like to say to America? DevinAlexander.com.
Well, one of my biggest missions is to get mothers to commit never saying, my child won't eat vegetables or my child won't eat anything green. You may feel like that's true at times. You may feel like you have the pickiest child and there's no answers. But, Coach, I have a 3.5-year-old who is incredibly picky, but eats better than any toddler. Why is that? Because I bob and weave around her. And the way brands market to us, I market to her. So, for instance, she has a vitamin that looks like a star, and I'm very forgetful at times. So in order to get her to want to have her vegetables, to have her vitamin, I call it a star treat. Oh, you just get one star treat today. And she literally asks for her star treat every morning.
Well, that's like what I do with my little Lexi Lulu. That's a bribe. You're breaking up a little bit. Are you on your iPhone?
Oh.
Yep.
I am.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
But what you're saying is you're marketing to your daughter the same way that food companies market to America, in a way, trying to get her to focus on eating well. Plus, I'm sure you spend a lot of time preparing food to make it taste good, right? Or
that's
delicious.
That's her strength.
Yeah. In fact, you said before you're our chief delicious officer here on, on
that's
the radio
her strength.
show.
That's
your but that's your strength. You make things taste delicious.
We're going to have you back in a month or so. I'd love to have you read from one of your favorite New York best-selling cookbooks about some of the stuff in your recipes. Seriously, Scott's more interested than I am because he's healthier than I am.
Well, I'm trying to figure out how to cut back on the sugars.
Live to be my age.
Yes. Yeah, that too.
So, mommies and kids. What you're saying is you think mommies can do a better job of feeding their kids, correct?
I think all moms are super moms. And everything I say, and with a giant mom hug, I think that we are programmed to believe that our kids won't eat healthy. And another, for instance, that everybody can do is, like, I was cutting my daughter's carrots in sticks all the time. And one day she decided she didn't like carrots. She didn't want carrots. I'm like, why are her carrots coming back? So I was like, oh, do you want carrot chips? So I literally take the carrot, cut it in rounds, in tiny little things, and she gobbles up the whole plate. So it's just, it's like they decide they don't like something for whatever reason, and it's not even real. And if you go and you buy the chicken nuggets and you buy the garbage, they're going to just want that and scream over that. And if you don't bring it into the house and you don't have another option, I mean, we've had nights where she's like, no salmon, and she loves salmon. And then I'll be like, last chance to eat your dinner, or you're going to go to bed without dinner. And she'll go downstairs, and she'll be all ready for bed, and then she tells me she's hungry, and I'll be like, sorry, and she'll be like, I want my salmon, like screaming as if it's a chicken nugget. Right. So it's just, like she's never had a chicken nugget. She doesn't know what it is. She doesn't know to scream for it. And it's that kind of thing that, yes, it takes a little extra time, but in the long run of not taking her when she's 6 and 7 and 8 and 10 and 14 to doctors because she's got high cholesterol and high blood pressure and she's bordering type 2 diabetes and all those things, I will spend the time now.
Right.
Well, good for you. Good for you.
That's great advice.
It is great advice. That's why we do the show, the Edge Radio Show. Devin Alexander will definitely be back with one of her New York Times best-selling cookbooks. We only have cookbooks. We only have a minute left, and I want to ask you one more time about fruit because I never asked you. I was so curious. It was one of my 500 questions. So I like to have a little fruit before I go to bed. I don't know why. I've got, like I said, psychological issues. Fruit, healthy, don't eat too much of it. When you have high blood sugar, is it okay to eat fruit?
Definitely don't eat too much of it, especially with high blood sugar, and make sure you're eating fruits like berries, not bananas, which are extremely high in sugar.
Stop. I have a banana every morning.
No, Coach.
Oh, Devin Alexander.
So berries.
What do I?
Blueberries.
Okay, blueberries in the morning instead of the banana.
Probably.
Blueberries, yes.
In the morning.
You need lower sugar. Right. You need lower sugar.
Maybe that's what's going on with me.
For my daughter to eat bananas or even ice cream that I make out of bananas that are just bananas, that's different. For kids who aren't eating real ice cream, they can eat a lot more fruit. For those of us over 40 or even older, or women particularly over 40, even one banana is going to really,
Wow. Why didn't you tell me this a couple of months ago? Why don't you tell we only have a minute left. Do you have videos on your website? Do you have videos that people could watch?
I have some on Instagram. I have a couple on TikTok, but I'm about to have a ton more. So on TikTok, I'm Chef Devin Alexander. I have some videos on YouTube, Chef Devin Alexander, and then everywhere else, Facebook, Instagram, I'm Devin Alexander.
All right. Well, I'm calling you off the air because I need help. Coach, no, okay. So I got to get rid of the banana. I mean, that's probably good. That's probably part of the reason I got issues.
And the chocolate.
It is.
Well, I'm not getting rid of the chocolate. I'll tell you that, Scott Harries.
All right.
3 seconds
well,
or
thank
less
you.
as a teaser. I helped a girlfriend lose 40 pounds just by changing her breakfast cereal. So, yes, let's get rid of your banana.
That's what we're going to start the show with next time is your breakfast cereal. That's the teaser for you coming back. Thank you. Thank you, Devin. You were so much fun, and I learned so much. See you in a couple months or sooner. Devin Alexander, DevinAlexander.com. And it's Scott Harries and the Coach every Tuesday, every Thursday on the Edge Radio Show, an award-winning KHTS 98.1 FM and 1220 AM.